Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk MMI Prep baseball. Sean McLaughlin, the new coach this season for the Preppers. He'll coach for you. New experience for you. You got to coach in baseball in the past as an assistant. First up, let's talk a little bit about being a head coach. I'm sure there's some challenges with that, but some rewards to get to know the kids a little bit better and put out a fine product, and that's what you're hoping to do this season at MMI Prep.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. It's been an interesting process. I was an assistant for 11 years at Hanover, so this is my first time as a head coach, able to put kind of my own stamp on things and take things from that we did at Hanover and were successful with, and other ideas I had that we didn't implement there, and kind of put my own stamp on things and see where it goes. And it's just nice to work with kids that are hardworking like we have, and just trying to put in the work and the time to get better every day.
Well, it all starts with a couple of seniors you have that have been through this program and got to reap a little bit of that district championship a few years ago, and a guy like Eddie Herbner who's headed to Bloomsburg University. Tell us about how he's been for you guys and his leadership role.
Eddie's been great since I got the job in the summer. He's one of the guys I've been leaning on to kind of lead us through this process of my first year. Doing things a little bit differently than been done in the past in the program, trying to change things up a little bit. And he's been one of the guys I've leaned on. As you say, he's going to Bloomsburg to pitch. He's one of the best pitchers in our division or in the conference overall. Our first game against Hanover, he came out to shoot and kept us in the game, a game we really should have won. We left a lot of guys on base that game, made a couple mistakes that hurt us, but it was a close game that we easily could have won if we were a little bit more experienced as young guys out there. In the season, just a growing process as the year goes on. Hopefully we'll be peaking at the right time at the end of the season, going into the playoffs, and Eddie's one of the guys that's going to lead us through that whole process.
Well, like any good team, even though you're a small school in single A, you're going to need some pitching, and you have to be pretty selective when you have a small roster like you guys do at MMI Prep. But tell us about a couple other arms you're hoping will get a little better as the season goes along for you guys and be able to keep you in games.
Yeah, pitching is the key, and especially in high school baseball, and it's one of the things we've done real well so far. Unfortunately, our hitting and our defense hasn't really backed it up to our capabilities. I feel like we're underachieving a little bit defensively and offensively, but our pitching has been great. It's kept us in every game. We're not beating ourselves from the mound. We're beating ourselves in other parts of the game. Sean Patel, a junior, who pitched a lot of significant innings last year as a sophomore, is their number 2 and pitched great against Holy Redeemer the other day. Really cold temperatures and conditions, and really pitched his heart out and kept us in that game. Once again, another game we probably could have won. We hurt ourselves defensively. We hurt ourselves leaving guys on base. We left 11 guys on base that game. It's kind of been our MO now in these first 2 conference games, is us beating ourselves a little bit. And our pitching has been great, keeping us in those games and giving us a chance to win. And Keyshawn's an important part of that. And we also have a senior who's really stepped up this year as kind of our main relief pitcher in Diddy Baines. And he pitched great against Redeemer. Pitched great in the preseason games that we played. I'm really looking forward to him to keep progressing and lock down and solidify that number 1 spot of the bullpen for us. We also have a freshman who we're expecting some big things from, in Kiefer Hoover, who's a transfer from Crestwood. And he hasn't pitched in a league game yet, but he's pitched in the preseason pretty effectively. And we'll probably end up throwing in the next week or 2 in a league game. And we're looking for some big things from him to solidify our number 3 spot in the rotation, which we're going to need. And then we have some other guys as well. We have a junior, Lucas Smith, who's pitched a couple innings in the past. A sophomore, Mark Lobitz, who pitched a little bit last year. So we have some arms, which is important, especially at our level. We feel like we have the arms to make a deep run in playoffs and hopefully be there in the district final at PNC. It's just a matter of our defense and our offense living up to its potential and being there equal with our pitching skill.
MMI Prep baseball is what we're talking. Head coach Sean McLaughlin here on the John Mendola Show. Sean, when you talk about a couple of guys that have made some plays for you either defensively or come up with a couple of hits this year, and I know you've talked about a good amount of your players there at MMI, but tell us about a couple of more that may round out your roster there.
One of the guys that's really a key for us is Nick Young. He's probably our best outfielder and best athlete overall, but we have him playing second base just out of team necessity. As you mentioned, we have a really small roster, so we got to have guys that are versatile and kind of make things work. And he's done a great job stepping in there. And offensively, he's really our catalyst. He's probably the hardest base runner in the league. He's really aggressive. He's really quick. He hits the ball hard every time he makes contact. And right now in the league games, his batting average isn't really where we need it to be, but he's making hard contact and having our best production when we get out. He's doing the best that he can in that scenario, hitting the ball hard and not making it easy on the other team, and his on-base percentage is really high. So he's a guy that's really stepping up for us. And George Palermo, a sophomore, is our shortstop. He's probably our best infielder. He played outstanding in the preseason. Struggled a little bit the other day, but bounced back with some tough plays in that same game after he had some miscues. So he's really working hard, and we expect a lot of big things from him. He started every game last year as a freshman at third base, and we slid him over this year to shortstop. And offensively, right now we've moved him into our cleanup spot, and he's not your traditional cleanup hitter. We don't have a lot of guys with power, but he's one of our best hitters who comes through in the clutch, just like Nick, hits the ball hard, can run the bases fairly well, and really helps us do a lot of different versatile things from that 4-hole, just like he does defensively.
Sean McLaughlin and the MMI Preppers ready to see if they could make a run towards a district championship this year. And they'll have their work cut out for them. There's some good teams up in the Lackawanna League this year as well, but it should be interesting as the season unfolds. Coach, we wish you the best through the season.
Thank you very much for having me, John.
MMI Prep Baseball here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.